Hey there, fellow investors, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. Are you ready to unpack Expedia Group's Q4 2024 earnings call? We've got a ton to cover today, from their stellar performance to some insights that might have you rethinking your travel investments.
It is really fascinating how Expedia managed to not only meet but exceed expectations. In a travel market that's constantly changing, they're showing resilience and a strategic way of thinking that sets them up for what could be a really exciting 2025.
Okay, so let's give our listeners the headline news first. Expedia absolutely crushed it in Q4. We're talking double-digit growth across the board. Room nights booked, gross bookings, and revenue. They even achieved margin expansion, which, as you know, is a beautiful phrase for any investor's ears.
Right. And it's not just about riding that wave of travel demand, though that's certainly a factor. Expedia is making some smart moves to capitalize on this demand, both in their consumer-facing business and their business-to-business segments. So they saw a 5-point increase in growth for both segments compared to the previous quarter, which, it shows they're not just growing, but they're accelerating that growth.
Okay, so you're telling me they're not just keeping up, they're pulling ahead of the pack. I remember all that talk about Hotels.com and Vrbo struggling to keep pace. But it seems like those concerns might be a thing of the past. Their consumer business bookings actually sped up for the third quarter in a row, hitting a solid 9% growth rate. All their major brands, Brand Expedia, Hotels.com, and Vrbo played a part in this. It's like they've got this well-oiled machine humming along smoothly.
What's particularly interesting about Vrbo is that they actually went through a period of what's called replatforming. Essentially, they rebuild and refine their platform. And on top of that, they made some key adjustments to their strategy, like focusing on better product features, higher quality vacation rentals, and more targeted marketing. And guess what? It's working. They've seen a strong comeback after making those changes, which suggests they're really finding their footing in the vacation rental space, even with stiff competition from companies like Airbnb.
So it sounds like they weren't afraid to take a step back, reassess, and make some tough choices. And now those choices are paying off. That's always a good sign in a company, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It shows adaptability and a willingness to learn, which are essential in a dynamic market. Now, let's not forget their B2B business. That's where they work with other businesses to provide travel solutions. That segment is just on fire. They saw a whopping 24% growth in bookings, driven in large part by the surge in international travel, especially in the Asia-Pacific region.
Okay, so we've got the consumer side thriving, the business side booming. It's like they've got a foot firmly planted in both worlds. But here's something that might surprise our listeners. Expedia's advertising business is quietly becoming a major player. In Q4, their advertising revenue grew by, get this, a staggering 25%.
Now, that's a nugget worth digging into, isn't it? They're not just selling travel. They're creating a platform for others to reach travelers. It's a savvy move. They're attracting more advertisers, rolling out new and innovative ad formats like video, and even giving their partners better tools to manage their campaigns. It seems like they found this sweet spot where they can generate significant revenue while also helping their partners succeed.
It's like they're building this whole ecosystem around travel and doing it in a way that benefits everyone involved, including themselves, of course.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the bottom line. All this growth is great, but is it translating into actual profit? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters to investors, right?
You're absolutely right. And the good news is Expedia is not just growing. They're growing profitably. They achieved strong growth in EBITDA, which is a measure of their operating profitability. And even better, their margins expanded. That means they're becoming more efficient, squeezing more profit out of every dollar of revenue. That kind of financial discipline is what separates the good companies from the great ones.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Expedia is embracing the power of artificial intelligence, or AI, in a big way. And I don't just mean automating a few tasks. I'm talking about using AI to actually enhance the traveler experience.
Exactly. AI is more than just a buzzword for them. They're already seeing tangible improvements from their AI initiatives. Think about it, from personalized search results to optimized booking processes to even smarter customer support interactions. Expedia is using AI to make travel smoother, more intuitive, and ultimately more enjoyable for everyone. It's like they're building a travel concierge powered by cutting-edge technology.
So it's not just about efficiency. It's about creating a better experience for the traveler. That's a smart move, because in today's world, people are all about convenience and personalization. They want their travel experience to be as seamless as possible.
And that's precisely what Expedia is trying to deliver. It's not just about getting you from point A to point B. It's about anticipating your needs, understanding your preferences, and crafting a travel journey that feels tailor-made just for you. And they're using AI to make that vision a reality.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. Amazing performance, smart strategies, a keen eye on the future. But what about the road ahead? What's Expedia's outlook for 2025?
Well, they're projecting continued growth in both gross bookings and revenue for the full year, though maybe at a slightly slower pace compared to 2024, but that's to be expected after such a stellar year. What's more important is that they're committed to further margin expansion, aiming for a 50 basis point improvement year over year.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be familiar with all the financial jargon, what does that really mean?
Essentially, it means they're focused on becoming even more profitable. They're not just chasing growth for growth's sake, they're making sure that growth translates into real value for their shareholders. And they're doing that by controlling costs, improving efficiency, and finding new ways to generate revenue. It's a sign of a well-managed and financially disciplined company.
And on top of that, they're planning to keep investing in key growth areas like international expansion. And of course, their AI initiatives. It sounds like they've got a solid plan for the future.
They do. And what's particularly intriguing is how they plan to leverage their strengths to navigate the challenges that inevitably lie ahead. The travel industry is constantly evolving. New trends emerge, competition heats up, and unexpected disruptions can throw everything off course. So the question is, can Expedia maintain its momentum in the face of these challenges?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, we're going to dive deeper into that question in the next part of our deep dive, so don't go anywhere.
We'll be unpacking the specifics of their performance, examining the key drivers behind their success, and exploring some of the potential roadblocks they might encounter. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk Tickers. Let's get down to brass tacks and actually unpack some of the numbers behind Expedia's phenomenal Q4. For starters, their gross bookings hit a staggering $24.4 billion. That's a 13% jump year over year. To put that into perspective, imagine a line of travelers stretching from New York to LA. That's the kind of volume we're talking about.
That is a lot of travel plans. A 13% increase is nothing to scoff at, especially in an industry as dynamic as travel. Where's all that growth coming from?
Well, think of it like a well-balanced portfolio. Both their B2C, that's business to consumer, meaning regular travelers like you, and B2B segments saw a 5-point increase compared to the previous quarter.
Yeah.
And get this, they had a record-breaking post-Thanksgiving promotional period. Clearly, travelers were eager to snag those holiday deals.
So savvy travelers are scoring great deals, and Expedia is reaping the rewards. Now let's zero in on lodging. Their gross bookings for lodging increased by a solid 12%, showing that hotels and vacation rentals are still hot commodities.
Absolutely. And it's worth noting that their hotel business grew even faster, at 14%. This means their core offerings are still in high demand. And remember how we discussed Vrbo's recovery? Well, those efforts are definitely reflected in these lodging numbers. They've turned things around, attracting travelers who want a different kind of experience than a traditional hotel stay.
It's like they're covering all their bases, catering to those who crave the comfort of a hotel and those seeking the unique charm of a vacation rental. But let's not forget about flights.
Right, their air business is soaring as well, fueled by higher airfares. The growing popularity of bundled travel packages, think flight and hotel combos, and their newly implemented merchandising capabilities. Essentially, they're making it easier and more appealing for you to book your entire trip through them. Flights, accommodations, the whole 9 yards.
So they're simplifying travel planning for the everyday person. Speaking of making things easier, what about their revenue?
A 10% jump to $3.2 billion is a clear indicator of their success. And remember that powerhouse B2B segment we talked about? It played a huge role in this revenue surge, growing an impressive 21%.
It is fascinating how consistently their B2B segment is exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
It really seems to be a major growth engine for them. But let's get to the part every investor wants to know about. Are they making money?
Absolutely. They've been incredibly strategic with their spending. And it shows in their strong EBITDA growth and those expanding margins we talked about earlier. They're walking the walk when it comes to profitable growth, which is a green flag for any investor.
Music to my ears. You mentioned earlier that Expedia is making waves with artificial intelligence. I'm curious, how exactly are they using AI to streamline their operations and create a better experience for the traveler?
Think of AI as their secret weapon, working behind the scenes to make everything smoother. They're using it for things like personalizing your search results, So you see options that actually align with your travel style and preferences. They're also using it to optimize booking processes, making it quicker and easier for you to snag that perfect trip. And even their customer support interactions are being enhanced by AI, so you get faster and more effective help when you need it.
So it's like having a personalized travel assistant working tirelessly in the background to make your trip planning experience as enjoyable as possible.
Exactly. It's all about creating a seamless and intuitive experience for the traveler. Now let's switch gears and address the elephant in the room. The challenges Expedia might face in this ever-evolving travel landscape. We all know the travel industry can be volatile. Economic downturns, geopolitical events, even unexpected pandemics can throw a wrench in the best laid plans.
So how is Expedia preparing for these potential headwinds? They're not exactly sailing in calm waters all the time.
They're actually taking a multi-pronged approach, focusing on diversification, financial prudence, and a relentless commitment to innovation. They know that in the travel industry, standing still is like falling behind.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Can you give me some concrete examples of how these strategies are playing out? How are they putting these ideas into action?
Well, diversification is all about spreading your risk. Expedia is not putting all their eggs in one basket. Think about it. They're catering to a diverse range of travelers, from budget-conscious backpackers exploring Southeast Asia to families looking for a luxurious, all-inclusive resort vacation. They're also geographically diverse, with a strong presence in both mature and emerging markets.
So no matter what curveballs the world throws at them, they're prepared to adapt and cater to a wide range of traveler needs. What about financial prudence? How are they ensuring they're in a strong position to weather any storms?
Remember those healthy margins we talked about? That's a sign of their financial discipline. They're carefully managing costs and making sure that their growth is sustainable and profitable. This financial savvy gives them a buffer to navigate any economic uncertainty that might pop up.
It's like they're building a strong financial fortress, capable of withstanding any economic headwinds. But it's not just about defense, right? What about their commitment to innovation?
Exactly. They're not just playing defense, they're constantly looking for ways to stay ahead of the curve. Their investments in AI and personalization are a prime example of this. They're betting on technology to enhance the traveler experience, streamline operations, and unlock new possibilities. It's this forward-thinking approach that will help them stay agile and competitive in the long run.
They're playing the long game, not just reacting to the present, but actively shaping the future of travel. Now let's talk about something that's always a hot topic in earnings, calls capital allocation. How is Expedia planning to use its resources? It's a critical question for investors, right?
Absolutely. It gives you insight into their priorities and their vision for the future. Expedia seems to be taking a balanced and shareholder-friendly approach, focusing on investing in growth, making strategic acquisitions, and returning value to shareholders. It's like they're juggling multiple balls at once, making sure everyone benefits.
So they're not just hoarding their cash. They're putting it to work in ways that create value for both the company and its investors. Can you break down each of those areas a bit further? I'm sure our listeners would love to know more about where their money is going.
Got it. When it comes to investments in growth, they're continuing to expand their global reach, enhance their technology platform, think AI and other cutting-edge tools, and explore new opportunities in areas like experiences and activities, going beyond traditional travel bookings.
It's about creating a holistic travel ecosystem, a one-stop shop for everything a traveler might need.
Exactly. And on the acquisition front, they're actively seeking out strategic opportunities to expand their portfolio and add new capabilities. Think of it like adding powerful tools to their already impressive toolkit. Acquisitions can be a way to quickly gain market share, access new technologies, or expand into new geographic regions. It's about staying ahead of the competition and grabbing opportunities as they arise.
Acquisitions can be a risky game, but when done strategically, they can pay off big time. What about returning value to shareholders? What are they doing to keep their investors happy?
They've recently reinstated their quarterly dividend, which puts money directly back in the pockets of their investors. They also have an active share repurchase program, which can boost the value of their stock. It's a clear sign that they're committed to sharing their success with those who have invested in their vision.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground: growth, profitability, innovation, even how they're allocating their resources. But let's talk about something that's often overlooked in these discussions: company culture. What's the vibe like at Expedia?
From everything we've gathered from their earnings call and various reports, it seems like they're fostering a culture of innovation, collaboration, and customer centricity. These are the pillars that support their success.
Those are all qualities that are highly valued in today's fast-paced world. But how are these values actually reflected in their day-to-day operations? How do these abstract concepts translate into concrete actions?
Their emphasis on innovation is evident in their willingness to embrace new technologies, like AI, and their constant pursuit of new ways to enhance the traveler experience. They're not afraid to experiment and push boundaries, which is essential in an industry that's constantly evolving.
It's that innovate or die mentality
Mhm.
that keeps companies at the forefront of their industries. And what about collaboration? How does that play out within the company?
Collaboration is all about teamwork and building strong partnerships. Expedia seems to understand this well. They're focused on fostering strong internal teamwork, breaking down silos, and promoting open communication. And externally, they're actively building partnerships with both travel suppliers, think hotels and airlines, and other players in the travel ecosystem, creating a win-win situation for everyone involved.
It's like they're building a travel alliance, recognizing that they can achieve more by working together than by going it alone. What about their customer-centric approach? How are they putting the traveler first?
They're constantly listening to traveler feedback, analyzing data to understand traveler preferences, and tailoring their offerings to meet those evolving needs. It's about putting the traveler at the heart of everything they do, ensuring that every interaction with Expedia is positive and memorable.
So they're not just throwing products and services out there. They're thoughtfully designing experiences that delight their customers. Now let's zoom in on some of the specific initiatives Expedia is undertaking to cement their position as a leader in the travel industry. What are their main areas of focus?
One major area of focus is their mobile strategy. They understand that in today's world, people are constantly on the go, and they want to be able to access travel information and make bookings seamlessly from their smartphones. So Expedia is investing heavily in their mobile app, making it more user-friendly, intuitive, and feature-rich.
It's about creating a mobile experience that's so smooth and enjoyable that travelers never want to use anything else.
Yeah.
In today's world, convenience is king, and they're making travel planning as convenient as possible.
Exactly. They're also focusing on their loyalty program because they know that loyal customers are a company's most valuable asset. They're making their program more rewarding,
Personalized?
and easier to use, giving travelers even more reasons to book through Expedia and stick with them for the long haul.
It's about creating a sense of community and rewarding those who choose Expedia as their go-to travel platform. It's a win-win for both the traveler and the company.
And they're not stopping there. They're also expanding their offerings beyond just flights and hotels, venturing into areas like experiences, activities, and even restaurant reservations.
It's about becoming a one-stop shop for everything travel-related. A traveler could literally plan their entire trip, from flights and accommodations to exciting activities and delicious meals, all through Expedia.
Right. By expanding their offerings, they're attracting a wider audience, tapping into new revenue streams, and positioning themselves as the ultimate travel companion. Now let's step into the realm of speculation for a moment. How do you envision Expedia evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? What's your take on their future trajectory?
It's always fun to put on our futurist hats and gaze into the crystal ball. What might the future hold for Expedia?
Well, predicting the future is always a tricky business. But if I had to venture a guess, I'd say they'll continue to push the boundaries of technology, personalization, and customer service. They'll likely double down on their AI initiatives, using it to create even more personalized and intuitive travel experiences. Imagine a world where Expedia uses AI to not only understand your preferences, but to also curate hyper-personalized itineraries, taking into account your budget, your interests, even your travel style.
It's like having your own personal AI travel agent, crafting the perfect trip just for you. That would be amazing.
Precisely. They could even integrate augmented reality and virtual reality into the travel experience, allowing you to virtually explore destinations and hotels before you even book. Imagine putting on a VR headset and stepping into your potential hotel room, feeling as if you're actually there.
That sounds incredible. It would take travel planning to a whole new level. It's like science fiction coming to life.
And they could leverage their vast data and analytics capabilities to provide travelers with real-time insights and recommendations. Imagine getting personalized alerts about flight delays, alternative routes, or even suggestions for local gems to explore based on your interests.
It's all about empowering the traveler with knowledge and giving them the tools they need to have a stress-free and enjoyable trip.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's always on the minds of investors. Valuation. Is Expedia a good investment? What are your thoughts?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It all comes down to whether Expedia is a smart bet for investors.
Well, as always, it depends on a variety of factors, including your investment goals, risk tolerance, and the overall market conditions. But let's look at some key factors to consider when evaluating Expedia as a potential investment.
Okay, so let's break it down for our listeners. What are the key things to keep in mind?
First and foremost, consider their growth trajectory. As we've discussed, they've been on a remarkable growth streak, and their outlook for the future remains positive. Growth is always a good sign, as it indicates that a company is capturing market share, attracting new customers, and generating more revenue.
So they're not just staying afloat. They're expanding their reach and solidifying their position in the market. That's a good sign. What else should investors be looking at?
Another crucial factor is profitability. As we've discussed, Expedia has a strong track record of managing costs and expanding margins. They're focused on making sure that their growth translates into actual profits. This is key for sustainable success.
It's not just about making money. It's about making money efficiently and sustainably. What other factors come into play?
You also need to consider the competitive landscape. The travel industry is a fierce battleground, with numerous established players and ambitious newcomers all vying for a piece of the pie.
So how does Expedia stack up against its rivals? What are their strengths and weaknesses?
Expedia boasts some powerful advantages: strong brand recognition, global reach, an extensive inventory of travel options, and a sophisticated technology platform. And their early adoption of AI could give them a significant edge in the future.
Yeah, those are some serious assets. It's like they've assembled a winning hand in the travel game. Anything else investors should be aware of?
Definitely. Their management team is another crucial factor to consider. They have a seasoned and experienced leadership team with a proven track record of success. A strong management team is crucial for navigating the complexities of the travel industry and making sound strategic decisions. They're the captains steering the ship, so to speak.
It's all about having the right people at the helm, making smart choices and leading the company toward a successful future.
Absolutely. And finally, don't forget about their valuation. Their current stock price relative to their earnings growth prospects and overall market conditions is a key factor to consider. It's all about determining whether their stock is fairly valued or if there's potential for it to go up in the future.
So investors need to weigh all these factors: growth, profitability, competition management, and valuation to determine whether Expedia is the right fit for their investment portfolio. Now let's have some fun with a segment we like to call This Is Not Financial Advice.
Ah, yes, the time for speculation and wild but plausible trade ideas. Remember, this is just for entertainment purposes, not serious investment advice.
Okay, I'm all ears. What outrageous yet intriguing trade idea have you cooked up for us today?
Picture this Expedia, with its deep understanding of traveler preferences and its advanced AI capabilities, decides to launch its own airline.
Whoa, that's a bold move. But I can see how it could potentially shake up the airline industry.
Imagine Expedia leveraging their vast customer base, their wealth of travel data, and their ability to create personalized recommendations to create a truly unique and differentiated airline experience.
They could offer tailored routes based on popular destinations, personalized in-flight entertainment based on your preferences, and even seamless integration with their existing travel booking platform. It would be a game changer.
Exactly. And imagine them using their AI to optimize pricing, scheduling, and even aircraft design, creating a truly innovative and customer-centric flying experience. It would be like a flying Expedia hotel, but in the best possible way.
That's a fantastic idea. I can see the headlines now. Expedia takes to the skies, revolutionizing air travel. Of course, this is all purely hypothetical and comes with a whole host of challenges, but it's a fun thought experiment that highlights Expedia's potential to disrupt the travel industry in unexpected ways.
And it's a reminder that in the world of investing, sometimes the most outlandish ideas can be the most profitable. But remember, this is all speculation purely for entertainment.
Now, let's take a moment to recap all the key takeaways from our deep dive into Expedia's Q4 earnings call. We've covered a lot of ground, and I want to make sure our listeners have a clear understanding of what we've learned. What are the main points you want to drive home?
First and foremost, Expedia is on a roll. They delivered a stellar performance in Q4, exceeding expectations and demonstrating their ability to thrive in a dynamic travel market. They're firing on all cylinders, with strong growth in both their consumer and business segments, fueled by smart strategies, innovative initiatives, and a keen focus on profitability.
They're not just riding the wave, they're actively shaping the future of travel.
Exactly. Their early adoption of AI is a major differentiator, setting them apart from the competition. They're using AI to enhance the traveler experience, streamline operations, and explore new possibilities, creating a travel ecosystem that's personalized, intuitive, and incredibly efficient.
It's like they've tapped into the power of technology to create a travel experience that's tailored to the individual traveler, anticipating their needs and exceeding their expectations.
And they're not just focused on growth. They're also committed to financial prudence, ensuring that their growth is sustainable and profitable. They've implemented a sound capital allocation strategy, investing in key growth areas, pursuing strategic acquisitions, and returning value to shareholders.
So they're not just building a successful company, they're building a company that's built to last. They're thinking long term, making smart choices that will benefit both the company and its investors.
And let's not forget about their strong company culture, which emphasizes innovation, collaboration, and customer centricity. These values are at the core of everything they do, driving their success and shaping their future.
They're not just a company, they're a team of passionate individuals who are united by a shared vision of making travel better for everyone.
Now, it's important to acknowledge that the travel industry is inherently unpredictable. Economic fluctuations, geopolitical events, and unforeseen disruptions, like a global pandemic, can throw a wrench in the best-laid plans. But Expedia has demonstrated resilience in the face of past challenges. Their diversified business model, strong financial foundation, and forward-thinking approach position them well to navigate future headwinds.
They're not just hoping for the best, they're actively preparing for the worst, ensuring they're equipped to handle any challenges that come their way.
Their ongoing investment in technology, particularly in areas like AI and personalization, will be crucial for staying ahead of the curve and adapting to evolving traveler expectations. They're not content with the status quo. They're constantly pushing boundaries and seeking new ways to innovate.
It's that constant striving for improvement that sets great companies apart. They're not afraid to challenge conventions and disrupt the industry for the better.
And finally, their commitment to fostering a culture of innovation collaboration and customer centricity will be crucial in attracting and retaining top talent and building strong partnerships. They understand that their people are their greatest asset, and they're committed to creating a workplace where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute their best.
They're building a company that's not just successful, but also a great place to work, fostering a culture that attracts the best minds and fosters a sense of community.
So to sum it all up, Expedia Group is a force to be reckoned with in the travel industry. They're executing their strategy effectively, embracing innovation, and delivering value to both travelers and investors.
They're a company to watch, and we'll be following their journey with great interest.
Now, before we wrap up, a friendly reminder, this is not financial advice.
Always do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
But based on our deep dive into Expedia's performance, it's safe to say that they're a company worth keeping an eye on. They're poised for continued growth and success in the exciting and ever-evolving world of travel.
That's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. We'll be back next week with another insightful breakdown of a major earnings call. Until then, happy investing. Welcome back to Talk Tickers. It's time to wrap up our deep dive into Expedia Group's Q4 2024 earnings call and, kind of distill everything we've learned into some key takeaways for you, the listener.
Okay, so let's start with the big picture. Expedia demonstrated, really robust growth across all their key metrics, exceeding market expectations, proving that they can thrive in an environment that's constantly shifting. They're not just reacting to the market, they're actively shaping it through strategic initiatives and a real commitment to innovation.
It's like they have their finger on the pulse of what travelers want, and they're not afraid to, push boundaries to deliver it. One of the things that really stood out to me was their strategic focus on both the consumer and business segments. Is like they have a two-pronged approach to growth, tapping into, diverse revenue streams and spreading their risk.
Exactly. And their embrace of AI, as we've discussed, is really setting them apart from the competition. They're not just paying lip service to AI, they're actually implementing it in ways that make a real difference for travelers. From personalized search results to more efficient booking processes.
And let's not forget their focus on the bottom line. All this growth is fantastic, but it's even better when it translates into profit, which is exactly what Expedia is doing. They've shown impressive financial discipline, evidenced by their margin expansion and commitment to, that profitable growth, which should give investors a lot of confidence in their long-term sustainability.
Absolutely. They're proving that they can grow responsibly. Which is crucial for building a strong and enduring business. And they're not just focused on enriching themselves, they're taking a shareholder-friendly approach, as we saw with their reinstated dividend. And their active share repurchase program. They're sharing their success
That's a good
with
sign.
their investors, which is always a good sign.
Now, it wouldn't be talk tickers if we didn't also talk about, the potential challenges that lie ahead. The travel industry, as we all know, is susceptible to all sorts of disruptions,
Yeah.
from economic downturns,
Yeah.
geopolitical events, to, unexpected pandemics. No one has a crystal ball, and there are always unforeseen challenges that can pop up.
True. But Expedia has shown, resilience and adaptability in the face of past challenges. And they seem well equipped to handle whatever comes their way. Their diversified business model, strong financial foundation, and their forward-thinking approach should help them navigate future headwinds.
They're not just sitting back and hoping for the best. They're actively planning for the future and building a company that can weather any storm. And their commitment to innovation, particularly in areas like AI and personalization, will be key to staying ahead of the curve and, adapting to evolving traveler expectations.
Yeah.
They seem to understand that in today's fast-paced world, standing still is the same as falling behind.
Exactly. They're not just reacting to trends, they're actively shaping them. And their focus on creating a positive and empowering company culture is another factor that should contribute to their, their long-term success. They're building a company where people feel valued, where innovation is encouraged, and where everyone is working together towards a common goal. That kind of culture can be a powerful competitive advantage.
So to wrap it all up for our listeners, Expedia Group is firing on all cylinders. They're executing their strategy effectively, embracing innovation, and delivering value to both travelers and investors. They're a company that's not just surviving, but thriving in a competitive landscape. They're a force to be reckoned with in the travel industry.
And while we can't predict the future, it certainly looks bright for Expedia. They seem well positioned for continued growth and success in the exciting and ever-evolving world of travel.
Now, before we sign off, a quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice.
Always do your own research. Consult with a financial advisor. And make sure any investment decisions you make are aligned with your own individual goals and risk tolerance.
But based on our deep dive into Expedia's performance, we can confidently say that they're a company worth watching. They're doing a lot of things right, and they seem poised to continue their upward trajectory.
And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into Expedia's Q4 2024 earnings call. We hope you found it insightful and informative.
Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. We'll be back next week with another insightful breakdown of a major earnings call. Until then, happy investing.